Good afternoon. I wanted to thank you for coming and taking some time out of your very busy schedules during this Commission for the Status of Women week, or 2 weeks. My name is Dorothy Davis. I am a founding member and chair of the International Board of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund of Liberia. I would like to introduce people sitting here. So first I want to start with Her Excellency Julia Duncan Cassell. She's the Minister of Gender, Children, and Social Protection of Liberia. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then I would like to introduce Ambassador Alice Deer. She is a former Executive Director of the African Development Bank and the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority representative to the UN, and a longtime friend of Liberia and Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. And then to my left here is a very famous person as well. Her name is Lusu Sloan, and Lusu is the outgoing president of the Liberia Marketing Association, and she is a member of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund Liberia Board. So welcome, Lusu. So we have decided to have this event mainly because we wanted to thank the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority for all of the support they have provided the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund since June 2008, when we had our first fundraiser here in New York for the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. In that regard, we wanted to recognize the former members of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund Board, International Board, and their founding members, because they were part of, obviously, the beginning. So I wanted to first recognize Peg Snyder. Raise your hand. Peg Snyder is a founding member of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, and she's Vice President Emeritus of the board of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund International Board. We have Libby Bassett, also a founding member of the International Board of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. We have Susie Johnson, also a founding member of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. And we have our, I'm going to include you, she's our first intern, Ndidi Anyegma. I know I'm messing up your name. Say it again. Ndidi Anyegma. Anyegbunam. There we go. I'll do it better. We wanted to bring everyone together at this time. This will be the final event of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, and we thought it would be appropriate to show our thanks for all of the support that has been given. Just as background, the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund was started in 2005 after the Civil War of Liberia and the election of President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as the first female president of Liberia and the first female president in Africa. And we wanted to honor her for having won that election. We also wanted to be able to help the country at that time when it was in a vulnerable state. And we asked her what was the best way to do so. She said to help the market women, because they were the ones who had kept the country fed throughout the Civil War and also were instrumental in bringing peace to the country. So that's how we started. And Lusu came here on her first flight in June 2008 for the fundraiser that we had at the Ethical Society to talk about her experience during the war and her experience as a market woman, along with Masa Kusli, who was with her, so that people in New York could understand the realities of market women and the realities of Liberia. At that same time, President Sirleaf came to our event after having given a speech at Harvard University. She found her way to us, and came just to be there to reassure everyone that Liberia was safe and that Liberia was ready to receive support, and we needed her to endorse it that way in order to spark interest in giving. So. You will see in your packets, there are pictures from that time frame. You will see a picture of President Sirleaf having a conversation with Masa and with Lusu on stage. And I think it was as a result of that we inspired confidence. And so I'm going to let Alice tell the rest of that story in terms of how the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority who attended, she brought a whole delegation, how they came to make the decision to support us.
Good afternoon. Our sorority sister, Madam President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and knowing that she was coming or was likely to be here, we invited the president of Alpha Kappa Alpha to come. And so putting those two presidents together, and they're being sorority sisters, and hearing the impassioned plea from the president and the market women made a difference in how committed we were. We knew we wanted to be committed, but we didn't know to what extent we would become involved. President Ellen invited our president, Barbara McKenzie, to come to Liberia and visit. And after she went to Liberia, the discussion ensued, because initially our plan was to support several markets around the country, minimum amount of money, just building the infrastructure. But once in Liberia, President Ellen talked about the importance of having one large market, a state-of-the-art market, because we had situations where outsiders were coming to do large markets showing what they could do, but she wanted to be able to have something done by Liberia and her aka sisters. And so they chose the mega market as being the one state-of-the-art market that they would put together. And so we mobilized the corporate body, the directorate, our board of directors, and it was agreed that this is the project that we should be supporting, the mega market. So we're very delighted that we've come to fruition, and I've invited two of our members of our delegation to the CSW, two of our international officers, the undergraduate member at large, Kenise Gray. I'm sorry, Kenise Gray is the second vice president. You'll stand for a second. Kenise Gray. And Victoria Simpson is the undergraduate member at large. Kenise is at Case Western. And I've got this right. And Victoria is at the College of Charleston. So we're glad you're able to join us. And you probably only know, because they're undergraduates and just become members in the past few years, they don't know the whole history. But there's in the package lots of information for you. And we're glad you're here to join us. Thank you.
I think it took about 2 years, right? Because all your chapters were involved in raising the money on this side. Mm-hmm. And so around 2010, the money was raised. And so the money was presented to President Sirleaf.
We did present the check for $500,000.
And then it was a decision as to where exactly this should take place. So they found approximately 450 acres of government-owned land near Painesville in Liberia. And one of our executive directors of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund in Liberia, who has since become the vice chair of the international board of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, Pia Brown, and she's an AKA soror. I have to get all that in there. And she's an AKA soror. She, at the time that she was executive director of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund in Liberia, she designed this state-of-the-art market, which is what was built in Liberia. So it manages it manages 3,000 market women, and we are very glad to know that you didn't mention the Liberia chapter.
Yes, you're right. There's a historical link with Alpha Kappa Alpha in Liberia. Our first international chapter was established in Liberia in 1958. So as we celebrated our centennial in 2008, Eta Beta Omega chapter in Liberia was celebrating its 50th anniversary. We've since joined, had a lot of other international chapters abroad, become members of Alpha Kappa Alpha, but Eta Beta Omega was our first international chapter. And our soror, Anna Cooper, went to school at Howard University, which is where I attended. And in 1917, she became a member and returned to Liberia and established the chapter there with other members of other women who had become members while they were in different universities in the U.S. And so coincidentally, they found themselves together in Liberia. And by word of mouth, learned of all of them being members and came together to form the Eta Beta Omega chapter. I think I've covered that.
You've covered that.
So,
I'm going to add that my aunt was one of them. So, okay, so now we have the land, we have the money, and so the Eta Beta Omega chapter was given the responsibility to construct the market using the state-of-the-art design that Sirleaf Market Women's Fund had provided. So there are some photographs over here of the finished product. It was turned over to the city of Painesville to do finishing touches, as well as to move the market women from what's called the red light district, which is a very congested district, to the actual markets. I would like to ask Lusu to say a few words about what that market means to the market women.
Before saying a few words about Omega Market, let me just recognize the founder of the Sirleaf Market Women Fund, and Madam Dorothy Davis, Dr. Awori, Pearl, and the rest of the other people who actually pulled this organization together for the market women to actually benefit from it. And I'm an example. I was here before the AKA came in with contribution. We came for fundraising program 2008 June, and then people wanted to know actually the problem with the market women. I think you can see the picture. I was trying to explain how the market women suffering, some running behind car, chunking their lapper on the car. And it was so interesting, and AKA decided to actually help, and they pledged 500,000 at the time. So I'm so grateful to the funders and also to AKA, who have built not only 500,000, they generated more money to add it up to do morning market at Omega, and to also benefit the market women who sell it in red light. Red light is jam packed, and in fact, I don't know whether it will even be able to hold everybody in red light, but when 30,000 market women leave from the group that there, at least it will minimize the population that there. So I'm so grateful, and I want to say thank God for the AKA for that money and for putting more money in it to build money market for Omega. And you will hear from me later on. Thank you.
I think if I can ask you to talk about the red light area and how this is going to help and alleviate.
Thank you very much. And let me just add my own voice to say thanks to the founders and all the members who contributed and continue to contribute to this great cause. The red light market is very congested. And with the opening of Omega Market, it's going to decongest that area in terms of traffic. It's going to be even better for the women now moving from off the floor to the table. Because if you see the picture of the market compared to where they are selling right now, you see that that market is so timely for that location. And that market would not just serve the 3,000 plus women, but there's also a daycare center. There's a medical center. So it's like a one-stop shop. So let me just say a big thank you to AKA International, but the AKA group in Liberia also raised funds to contribute to buttress what was given to them from here to ensure that that project was completed. And we are very happy and very proud that now the women have something more modern compared to what we had before. And then all other markets now being built, we have to follow that model. But it started from a dream, and the dream has now come to reality. And it couldn't have happened but with women being in the front. So we are just proud to be part of this process. Thank you.
I wanted to add that in 2013, I'm referring to the chapter there, in honor of President Sirleaf's 75th birthday, the sorors there raised about $900,000 additional dollars to complete the construction of the market. And we all know that Ebola came in 2014, which caused major setbacks on this project, but they persevered. And on July 23rd, 2016, they hosted a program to dedicate and turn over the market, the Omega Market, to the city of Paynesville on behalf of President Sirleaf. So this has been a real journey to bring this project to fruition, and it really represents what women can do when they partner with each other. This has been a global partnership all along the way from 2008 to present and into the future. So on that note, I need to add that that was around the time of the Independence Day of Liberia, which is July 26th. On that note, I think it's appropriate to present our gift. On behalf of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, we would like to present this wall hanging to the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority to express our thank you for all you've done for us and for the market women in Liberia through many things, including the money and including all the support that has been provided through your soror, Ambassador Alice Deer.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Alice, you're welcome.
Congratulations.
We're finishing the first part of our program today, which essentially was the last event for the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. And we say that it's a bittersweet moment because we have all invested years of our lives pulling this together and trying to bring it to a point where it could go on into another phase. And so we have reached that point now. And before I talk about that, I want to recognize the contributions of all the founding members. Dr. Thelma Awori, number one. Yes. She's the one, she's the brainchild for this. Peg Snyder, number two. We have Libby Bassett. We have Susie Johnson. And I invited everybody, and I received some responses. I want to add Mina Marstein Bale. I want to add Bahia Akerele. I wanted to add Pam Frederick. And I'll continue. So anyway, I got some responses. I got one from Alex Kiesterling. He's sorry he couldn't come, and because he had a previous engagement, he would have liked to have attended, and he has always considered this project as one with tremendous development impact. And so he was very excited about that. Hilda Tadria, the African Women's Development Fund, she says, greetings from Uganda. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm excited that this final stage of maturity has been realized. This was always my dream for this project. Marnier Lazarick, she also had a conflict in terms of her schedule. And she says it is gratifying to see that the Market Women Project has matured, so to speak, and is now reaching another stage in its evolution. Elizabeth Luanga, she says, congratulations on all the accomplishments under the SMWF and best of luck on the new organization. Then we have Ndidi. We have Ndidi, who says, I'm so proud of what the organization has accomplished and am excited about the greater heights it will achieve in its new form. We also have Connie Morris Hope, who wasn't part of the board, but she worked with us. She wrote from Addis. I appreciate the work that the original SMWF has done. I am confident that the good work will continue under the new organization. Vivian Lowry Derrick.
Yes.
I wanted to say that the outgoing board, Pia Brown, was vice chair of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. She was planning to come, but because of the weather, it caused a problem. She sent a statement. In 2011, I had the privilege of becoming the executive director of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, and I say privilege because it was one of the most educational, challenging, and rewarding experiences of my life. Since my return to the United States, I have been blessed to continue my work with SMWF as a board member, and while in a different capacity, those experiences were further enriched. As we gather today for the official transfer of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund to the Sustainable Market Women's Fund and celebration of the Omega Market, I could not be happier knowing that this movement will continue. Knowing that I was a part of the growth and maturation of SMWF and proud to be a member of the Eta Beta Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, Inc., gives me reason to celebrate and look to a future of endless possibilities for the market women I have grown to respect and love. When describing the organization and its mission, I am quick to say that it is not just about bricks and mortar, but about the real programs that will sustain the movement. Buildings age and get run down, but education, healthcare, sanitation, and business skills development are pillars to progress, ageless and sustainable. Most importantly, they convey to future generations. On a personal note, I have met some amazing women and men on this journey, women especially, who exemplify that empowering and sustaining a nation stem from empowering and supporting women. All good things must come to an end, but I wouldn't have wanted it to end any other way or with any other people. I look forward to continuing my engagement with the Sustainable Market Women's Fund and wish the new leadership much, much success. I wanted to share with you that I have really enjoyed being a part of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. It brought me back to the country that I was born in, and in a useful way, in a useful way, and a productive way, and a rewarding way. I met amazing people along the way, one of them being this one over here, who we've had all kinds of experiences together. and also with you in different ways. And obviously with the women that are on the board and that we've just impacted along the way. Alice has been one of my, I don't know, we just keep pulling together on things, and Gail has been wonderful in terms of helping us along the way. I wanted to, yeah, Gail has been amazing. And also the President Sirleaf has been amazing in terms of giving her time and being flexible and working with us and coming up with creative ideas with us and so forth. And the market women have taught us so many lessons about living. And I am eternally grateful to them. I wanted to also say that I think it's appropriate that we are actually having this at the African Union Mission because a lot of our work has also been policy level. And Lusu has been quiet about this, but she was the first market woman to speak in a policy setting at the on the side of at a side event at the AU, and it was her, because of what she said, that caused them to request a private meeting with her and the delegation to discuss the impact that market women could have on their development of their approach to peace and security. So we have reached both at the policy level and at the grassroots level, and we've been able to create a platform from which market women's voices can be heard across the world. So on that, I would like to announce that the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund is now going to transform into the Sustainable Market Women's Fund. So we stay with the SMWF. And so we stay with the SMWF, and Layli, who was secretary under the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund, is now becoming the founding chair of the new organization, the Sustainable Market Women's Fund. She had planned to be here too, but the weather and scheduling did not allow her to. Before I say Layli's comments, I meant to also mention Akwasi Aidu, and I also wanted to mention Nancy Oku Bright. This is Layli Maparian's statement. On behalf of the International Board of Directors of the Sustainable Market Women's Fund, we would like to say bravo to Dorothy Davis and the International Board of Directors of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund for many years of important strides for Liberia's market women. On this day, we also offer greatest gratitude to the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority for its generous support of SMWF's efforts to improve the markets where Liberian market women work and conduct commerce every day, especially the beautifully renewed Omega Market. In the ongoing spirit of joint endeavor and in support of the market women who feed and educate the citizenry of Liberia, we look forward to all that lies ahead. Thank you, Layli. I'm going to ask Lusu. Lusu has yet another title now. Lusu is the incoming executive director of the Sustainable Market Women's Fund, and we're very excited about that. She starts in April.
Okay, and again, I'm grateful to the leadership, the past leadership of the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. Actually, they made me to be exposed. My first time getting in plane was through them, 2008, to come to the States. And also, I was able to go to Addis Ababa, the first market woman who spoke on behalf of the market women in Africa. So I'm actually grateful for the Sirleaf Market Women's Fund. And then we have the same goal. The Sirleaf Market Women's Fund was dealing with the market that was built by them. But now the Sustainable Market Women's Fund will be dealing with all of the market in Liberia. Yes, it will not be a specific market. And we are carrying the same meaning, the same intention, the same way they wanted to to actually help the market women is the same thing that going on. And almost like the same people, they need just change from the selling market women fund to the sustainable market women fund. So it is still SMWF. Okay? And in order to actually achieve gender equality in Africa, we need to help our women with education, our market women who cannot do it right. Okay? In order to really achieve that gender equality, because if they are not educated, I mean, you will come here over 10, 50 years, you will not achieve that goal, because if you are not educated, you will not actually know what to do. Many of our women benefited from the Selling Market Women Project because of the early education program. Now some can go to the bank and save their money, they can go and withdraw. Some know how to read and write. And also, in time for the election, they're also able to go and catch their ballot. Yes. So in order to achieve this goal, we need to actually help our market women with education, with other training, and with the next level program, because some are selling and they don't know how much they're making, and they also need that education. We need children playground for them, so the children cannot be like them tomorrow, so they can be more than them. And I'm asking all of us to support the sustainable market women fund in order to achieve the gender equality we are coming here for. Thank you.
So on that note, I would like for you to say a few words.
Thank you, Dorothy, and thanks again to the Salif Market donors and partners and friends of Liberia. Before the Omega Market came in, before the AKA came in, Salif Market came in to train women. And so a lot of our market women were trained across the country on literacy, numeracy, and skills. So like Lusu said today, most of our market women have come from zero to heroes. They know how to write their names. Their markets are no longer on the floor. They're all now on tables. So with the Sustainable Women Market Fund, we hope that these women will now start owning their own businesses, their own shops, their own stores, and traveling. But what good thing that this Salif Market did was trying to be regionalized. Malawi is copying after Liberia. Ghana is copying after Liberia. They took the exact pattern from the Salif Market in Liberia. So I think that's a big clap to all of the members of Salif Market that it just didn't stay in Liberia. It went on a regional level, and hopefully Africa as a whole, looking at what market women have done in Liberia under the auspices of the Salif Market. On behalf of government and all the women of Liberia, I want to say a big thank you to the founding members of Salif Market, to AKA International and AKA local, because the likes of Jenny Bernard, Clavinet Brett Parker, Dr. Dawn Bounds, and all of the others there, they worked extremely hard to get this market to where it is today. So I want to say a big thank you to them, and want to also now welcome Lusu from being the president for the Liberia Marketing Association for 2 terms. Now she's moving on. They just had elections, so they have a new president, and she's not just going to sit down. She's coming to run a bigger portfolio. We want to say congratulations, and we look forward to working with you and working with all those who have coming on board to improve the lives of our women and children in Liberia. Because if you improve the life of a woman, you also improve the life of a child and make it more a better place. So thank you, Dorothy. You've always been in the forefront. Thanks to all.
Okay, so I wanted to thank everyone for coming. I wanted to share best wishes from Shelley Ross, who is a program person. And I wanted to congratulate Lusu on her new position and look forward to working with everyone going forward. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.